with us wherever you may be on a rainy Sunday afternoon, and really, I guess, up in your area, it's raining steadily, and down here we've had some sporadic rain, nothing really to be a factor thus far. The sophomore game went without a hitch, just a couple of sprinkles, and the St. Bede Cubs remained unbeaten as they go to 4-0 with a 16-8 decision over the underclassmen from BCC. So the stage is set for the varsity game. We'll give you some highlights on that sophomore game as we go along during our pregame comments. We also have a word or two with John Bellino, the head football coach at St. Bede. Joel Gerdovich is with us this afternoon, and the absence of Rick Sipovic, who is taking the day off. He says 3 games in 3 days is too much, and we don't blame him a bit. And I know that Rick is glad to have the day to spend with his family and enjoy a Sunday afternoon at home, and we don't begrudge him that fact at all. After the Friday night date at Streeter with LaSalle Purdue and then last night's IVCC game, 3 games in that many days can become a little much perhaps, and of course with Rick we'll miss, but Joel Gerdovich is here to add the statistics for us and do some work there. May drop in a color comment from time to time as well, and we are looking forward to this. And you know, historically these two teams have played each other very, very tough. Harken back to last year's St. Bede homecoming game and a last-second touchdown scored by Central Catholic in a 1-point win. Some of the games over the years have really been great, although a new rivalry, and yet one now that is very meaningful since St. Bede did join the Corn Belt Conference and certainly hopes to make some noise along with Central Catholic, who's had an outstanding bit of success under Coach McIntyre down here in recent years, and a state championship a couple of years ago. In fact, right over to our right off the press box here, near the dressing room, there's a building, and it says State Champions on the side. This field is away from their campus, and yet is used for their football games out here in Bloomington. We would hope that the rain will not come to us, although it is heavily overcast here, and I imagine we will see some wet stuff before it's decided. The wind very much could be a factor. It's blowing out of the south right now, and it could be a factor in the game. It would be in the punting, kick, by the name of John Kilgard, and he of course remembers St. Bede from last year. He played very well against St. Bede at the home of the Bruins last year, and already this year he has nailed 4 field goals, 1 very meaningful against Lincoln with no time left. He hit a 23-yarder, and the Saints upset the Lincoln Railers 9-6. I guess they teed up with 5 seconds to go. Time expired as the ball was in the air from the 13-yard line, going a 23-yard effort. John Kilgard also reminds everybody that, contrary to the Daily News Tribune last year, he is not a foreign exchange student. I think somebody put that in the newspaper. He's from California originally, but has been in this area for quite some time, and he says, I'm 100% American, I'm not foreign exchange student. The St. Bede coaches down below say, I hope you get a leak up there. It started raining now, and we're in the press box, a little open face box, and unless the wind starts coming out of the west at us, we probably will be able to avoid most of the rain here. We've got an advantageous position. In fact, a very nice position to watch a football game from. We're elevated about 20 or 25 feet in the air, right at the 50-yard line. And the only problem we may have, which we don't anticipate being a problem, is the corner of the press box, which kind of knocks out the 30 to the 20-yard line down to our right. And yet, with the long neck, we'll be able to look around the box and pick things up as they go towards the north goal here. So, all in all, the Central Catholic Saints coming off an impressive 29-12 opening date victory over Normal U High. And then the upset of Lincoln. They were 2-0 at the time. But then with 4 starters out of the lineup last Friday, on Friday the 13th, wouldn't you know, says John McIntyre, they were victimized by McNamara, but the Fighting Irish putting together one of the outstanding programs now in the state of Illinois, and certainly a 3A team that's going to be a contender as we go into the playoffs. They remain unbeaten, and they thrashed the Saints 39-0. In that ball game, Central Catholic had no fewer than 9 turnovers, so they come into the ball game at 2-1. St. Bede just the opposite at 1-2. They beat St. Edward of Elgin 22-0. They were scored on late by Ottawa Marquette, as Marquette dodged an upset, 21-15 the Crusaders. And then on Friday the 13th up at St. Bede, it was LP 14 and St. Bede nothing. We might mention the fact on St. Bede's defensive behalf that is the lowest point total of the year for the LaSalle Peru Cavaliers. They're unbeaten at 4-0. So even though St. Bede's offense had trouble against the vaunted Cavalier defense, the St. Bede defense accorded itself well and ended up dropping a 14-0 decision. So the Bruins come in at 1-2 and the Saints at 2-1. Central Catholic with some familiar names back from last year's ball club. And last year's team that finished 10-2, losing to Jacksonville Rout in the 1A semifinals, and then Jacksonville going on to win the Class 1A championship. But that was a 10-7 decision in the semifinals last year. The only other loss was in the regular season, and that a two-pointer to Lincoln. The year before that, if you want to go back again in your history book, in 1983, the Saints finished 11-2. They lost to U-High in the regular season, and they lost to Woodstock Marion in the 2A championship game. And then prior to that was the big year, as in 1982 they beat Casey to win the 2A crown and the state championship for John McIntyre's ball club. He has a glistening record of 59-33 coming into this season, now at 61-34 coming into the ball game. Coach McIntyre in his 10th year here at Bloomington Central Catholic as head coach. And you don't do much better the last three. They are 33-5 over the last three complete seasons. The coin toss coming up and football shortly at the home of the Saints. As we mentioned, we talked with Coach John Molino about his look at the opponent here, and he casts a wary eye at Central Catholic as he harkens back to the LP game of 1 week ago, well, actually 9 days ago. We asked him what he felt he had to do in order to defeat the Central Catholic Saints, and he has these comments. Okay, this runs 3:31. I'll do the ID when we get it back. Talking about how it hadn't been raining, now it's starting.
I will always bring it because of what happened to him. I'm sorry, I forgot the words to a Lord's Prayer at somebody's wedding. Yeah. The groom was crying. The groom was crying, and he didn't have a handkerchief. And I thought, why didn't that minister give that guy a handkerchief? And I was thinking, other than what it should be doing. And that marriage has been in trouble ever since.
Is that right? He's crying when he gets married.
20 years later, it's not doing well.
Off to a rocky start. Is that right?
It's a good ball game. This isn't the Central Catholic homecoming, is it? No? It's awful early, I guess, anyway.
Why don't we just home in the background?
Yeah, we're back in a minute.
Low on batteries, maybe? Well, that's all I can think of. Pull the back plug out and plug it in.
Bring the plug.
Oh, you're going to have to go a cappella. Well, it's going there good for a while.
Oh, good.
That's a battery. That's perfect. That's going to be funny.
All right, we got about 20 seconds.
Nothing new.
I'll do the ID, we get it back. And shortly we'll break for a spot. We've got about 7 minutes until the kickoff. Did they have the coin toss? I missed it. I think they did.
Stock, did they? I missed it.
I'll find out. That's all right. I was going to yell at the ref, but I'm going to kind of crash.
What's Bede's strength besides the defense?
The wind could be a factor, and the rain could be as well, as it has been raining now since just about before airtime, but not hard. The sky is heavily leaden, but also some low-hanging clouds and some lighter gray up above, and it's very difficult to make a prognosis right now what is going to happen. It was darker a few minutes ago. There are lights here, and they may come on before the end of the ball game. We certainly hope that that will not be necessary. So you heard John Bellino talk about the status of his ball club. He has some people that have been banged up, but they are expected to all be ready. Giordano took the hard hit on the opening kickoff against LP, is expected to play. Mickey Donarski had a bruised shoulder, I believe it was, is expected to be in the starting lineup. Ernan Push, Patak, Henkel, and Schmitz all were mildly injured in that hard-hitting crosstown rivalry when LP and St. Bede played for the final time in the series on the 13th, but we'll just have to wait and see how much they play. Patak will be spelled a little bit by a fine sophomore, Kelly Neal, who'll be playing some linebacker, and another sophomore will be in the starting lineup for the St. Bede Bruins tonight, and that is Kragulski, who will be playing free safety. I said tonight already. It is afternoon, starting to look like night. You're listening to WLPO, LaSalle, Peru, Oglesby, Spring Valley, 1220 on your dial. Lanny Slevin with you, along with Joel Gerdovich here at Bloomington Central Catholic. Quick note on the sophomore game. Jim Perona threw to Pamato for the first touchdown. The extra point pass made it an 8-0 ball game in the first half. That happened late in the second quarter, and that's the way it was at halftime. And then it was scored by Central Catholic to tie the ball game. But Brian Ketter returned an interception 102 yards for the winning touchdown. The extra point pass good, and 16-8 final. There was one injury in the ball game, and I don't want his mom to get excited, but a fellow by the name of Lanny Slevin sprained an ankle. And hopefully it's no more than a sprain. They may do a quick x-ray on later to see if, in fact, there's any kind of fracture. But in the third quarter of the ball game, on a punt return, he turned it upfield and sprained an ankle and did not play most of the second half. Might add somewhat editorially that he had a pretty good game going at the time, and if Sip was here, he'd turn my microphone off. I'd like to remind you that right after the broadcast from Bloomington, you'll hear Russ Park with Reminisce with Russ. So those of us who enjoy the music from the big band era will be able to enjoy that right after the ball game. The Central Catholic Saints, and another comment maybe parenthetically by yours truly, have as nice a looking uniforms as you'll see anywhere. Their uniforms very much like the U.S. Naval Academy. They've got the dark navy blue jerseys and old gold helmets, old gold pants, and old gold numerals with white TV numerals on the shoulder pads, and then the gold helmets with Saints on the side. St. Bede, not to be withstanding, with the nice looking traveling green and white. They have the white jerseys, green pants, Kelly green numerals, and the white helmets with the green stripes coming down the helmet. So it's a colorful experience in the football garb out here, although somewhat subdued with the weather being overcast. And the field a little bit chewed up in the sophomore game, a strip of mud down the middle between the 30-yard lines, and yet that may or may not be a factor. They were hammered in the pits, and this field has been used already by Central Catholic this year. But the cars going by on Route 9 out here with the headlights on now would indicate that we may see the lights on before the end of the ball game. We'll take a look at the starting lineups for you right after this from First National Bank of Oglesby. Coin toss will be hopefully reenacted in a minute because they did it real early, and to be honest about it, I didn't see who won the coin toss. But anyway, here's the way they'll go for St. Bede. Doug Hinkle, a senior, will open at center. Brian Schmitz, a senior, and Dwayne Hansen who started at guard, will be opening at the 2 guards. Nick Kelly, a starter from last year and a senior, will be at 1 tackle. And Big Eric Ernenpuch is expected to go at the other tackle. The tight end is Dave Smith, a senior, and the split end is Toby Galandri, a junior. The quarterback is a well-thought-of junior named Joe Corona, who's an outstanding athlete at St. Bede. The fullback, Kai Kashinsky, a senior, and the tailback is Mickey Donarski, a senior. The wingback is a senior in Jim Gallagher. So a senior-dominated offensive lineup for St. Bede with Galandri and Corona descending, if you will. Starting on offense for the Bloomington Central Catholic Saints at center, a junior, Jim Malinowski. The 2 guards will be Tim Arnold, a junior, and Doug Wohlenberg, coming off a knee injury, a 205-pound senior on the other side. The tackles are Darren Hess, 190 senior. Excuse me, Chris Nelson will be the right tackle. He is a junior at 175, and Tom Kraft, 195-pound senior. We may see Hess either at tackle or at tight end. He'll be wearing either number 77 or number 85. The tight end to open is Mark Nierick, who started last year at tight end. He now is a senior, had a knee injury in baseball, but is back off of that and apparently is close to full strength. 185-pound senior. And the split end is Doug Lanier, 145-pound senior. The quarterback, Jim Zanoni, 6'2", 180, and a senior. The fullback is Mark Gratkowski, 5'10", 161, and a senior. And the tailback, Tony Penn, 5'9", 145, and a senior. And the flanker back is Nick Capodice, C-A-P-O-D-I-C-E, is 5'11", 150, and a junior. Gratkowski has had some big games already in this young season for the Saints. He had 63 yards against Lincoln and scored a touchdown. And he had 120 yards against U High and a touchdown. Last year he shared fullback time with graduating Gary Jewett. As far as the defensive alignment is concerned, they too were the sophomore in the starting lineup, as is the St. Bede lineup. Kurt Thoma, who is 5'10" and 147 pounds, spells his name T-H-O-M-A, pronounces it Thoma, and will be one of the linebackers. You'll hear his name mentioned often. We were talking with Coach McIntyre prior to the ball game, and he said they're very high on this young sophomore. He's an outstanding athlete. So the Bruins remain on the field to warm up. The Saints have gone back into the locker room. They'll be coming out shortly, and we'll be starting the ball game in about 5 minutes from now. And we had talked earlier about the rain not being a factor in the sophomore game. It probably will be in the varsity game because it's now raining steadily in the Twin Cities area here at Bloomington Normal. Joel, I know you haven't had a chance to say anything as yet. I don't know if you wanted to jump right in or not. You certainly don't need an introduction, having done a number of reports for us for St. Bede and other teams during the past couple of years, and we've enjoyed certainly listening to your updates and reports. We're glad to have you with us here and add a spot or two from time to time and keep us up to date on some of the viable numbers in the contest. But it's ironic the way we had come down here and thought maybe we'd avoid the rain. Now it's coming down quite steadily, so it could be a factor.
Well, it could be a good ball game, Lanny. The rivalry between these two schools is very intense, just like the Marquette-St. Bede rivalry is. So it should be a good ball game.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Central Catholic Saints!
You know, 2 years ago at St. Bede, it was their homecoming. Central Catholic was there. They scored 15 points in the fourth quarter to win by 4 and disrupt the homecoming. Last year, they came from behind and scored late for a 1-point win. So they've disrupted the homecoming activities at St. Bede twice. I leaned over to somebody in the box a few minutes ago and said, this wouldn't be the Central Catholic homecoming, would it? They said no, and I was kind of hoping maybe St. Bede would return the favor. It is not their homecoming, although a Sunday afternoon ball game here in Bloomington. So the Saints now back on the field, and they will be introduced, and the ball game will open in a moment. And now they will come out for the coin toss, and we'll let you know who's going to be getting the football.
Please stand and face the flag.
Right now, we will pause for our national anthem prior to kickoff here at Central Catholic High School. turnout considering the weather. A sea of umbrellas on both sides. Across the way, a lot of green and white from the St. Bede Academy side. The captains in the center of the field, Jody Ayer, a 140-pound senior, being introduced to the officials now by the referee representing the Central Catholic Saints. As St. Bede has won the coin toss, they have deferred, and Central Catholic will take the football but face the wind in the first quarter. For the St. Bede Bruins out on the field, Kai Kaczynski and Mickey Donarski, their co-captain. So St. Bede will have a pretty severe prevailing wind, a trailing wind here in the first quarter, as that could be a factor as well. And I can't wait, if in fact he's able to get in field goal position, to see John Kilgard again. Kilgard has hit field goals of 26, 21, 35, and 23 yards already in the first three ball games. 3 against U-High and 1 against Lincoln to win it. And of course they did not score against McNamara. And now down below, under the watchful eye of their head coach, the veteran, John McIntyre, the Central Catholic Saints in a huddle, whooping it up, jumping up and down. Across the way, St. Bede stands rather quietly, and now they break out and come onto the field, deploying in their kickoff formation. John Patak, a junior, teased the ball in the middle of a mud puddle, which will become more muddy as the game goes along, but in the muddy part of the center of the field, and he's got the ball on the tee. St. Bede with 11 stretched out to our left, and now the Saints come onto the field. Rain lets up for the moment. Back to receive, the principal receiver is Capodice, as he stands in the middle of a triangle of players. Bratkowski on the far side, and then on the near side is Tony Penn, so they've got some burners back there. Capodice is their wingback, and he stands in the middle. So we're about ready to go as the players now get back off the field on the near side and back right down below us here at Central Catholic High School. Glad you're with us on WLPL. St. Bede won the sophomore game 16-8. Patek says he is ready with a clenched fist. The official is now clearing the area, and we are moments away. We would anticipate Patek to get a pretty good kickoff away with the wind to his back, which shifts slightly now coming out of the southwest. The field laid out north and south here at BCC. So the varsity ball game is now underway, and it's a low kick, hits a lineman, and a scramble, and not a good kick at all. It almost looked like his foot slid off the side of the ball. It hit a Saints lineman and is covered at the 48-yard line of Bloomington Central Catholic. Tim Arnold takes the kickoff, and BCC gets dynamic field position to open the ball game. His foot seemingly slipped off the side of the ball. I don't know if the ball was wet or if his toe was wet or if he just did not connect. So now the ball equidistant between the hash marks, and Jim Zanoni brings his club up to the line of scrimmage, splitting his backs into a pro set. Zanoni with Capodice in motion to the near side, gives it over to Bratkowski, and he struggles up to midfield. It's a gain of about 2. It'll bring up second down and a long 8, almost 9. They say his knee went down at the 49-yard line. Defensively for St. Bede in a 4-3 set, Brian Schmitz at one end, Jim Lattin at the other, Art Cornthwaite at one tackle, and Mike Day the other tackle. John Patak, Kai Kaczynski, and Gary Mueller backing the line for St. Bede. We'll check their 4 deep in a second. Second down and 8 for the Central Catholic Saints. Capodice in motion to the right side. Zanoni back to pass. Zanoni throws up a wounded Quayle. It's up for grabs and intercepted by Perona. I checked that. It is. Yes, it is. It is Joe Perona. An absolutely terrible pass by Jim Zanoni. It apparently slipped out of his hands. There was nobody near it other than Perona. And he takes the ball in St. Bede territory at the 20, where the Bruins have it. 1st and 10. In this wind, I'm sure John McIntyre will reconsider, with not only the wind but the rain a factor, we'll probably reconsider the passing game. It is now 1st down at 10 St. Bede. They take over just a step outside their own 20 with sideline to the left, open field to the right. And the Bruins move it here from left to right. Handoff goes off the tail to Donarski, and he slithers out across the 20 up to the 24-yard line, where he is tripped up in on the tackle. For the Saints is Steve Rapp, number 54, and they also have
number 54 for the Saints,
number 60 in there. And now we're going to double check see exactly who that is. We did not have him in our starting lineup. That is Mark McReynolds. Plane goes over. It feels like you're at Shea Stadium here. It is 2nd down and 6 after the 4-yard carry. St. Bede with the football to get us to Narski, and he's knocked down. Big hit made by Tom Valone, the guy who started an offense last year, is now playing a defensive end. And Valone makes the hit after a gain of maybe a yard. That'll bring up 3rd down. And a long 4, almost 5. About 3rd down and 5 for St. Bede. Going out of the lineup for the St. Bede Bruins is Mueller, who's in on offense for the play, and Jim Gallagher replaces him. Gallagher slotted right inside Galandre as Perona checks the defense. Little toss over the middle, tight end with the ball, Dave Smith, and he brings it out across the 35 and onto the 40-yard line. It's a 1st down for St. Bede. A little safety valve pass for Joe Perona. Just a little quick look in to the tight end off the left side. The officials wipe off the ball. The driving rain coming out of the south now. St. Bede with the first down of the day. And again, twin receivers to the right. As back into the lineup is Mueller, and he slots inside Galandre. Out of the omnipresent eye set. Perona with a broken play, keeps the ball himself, lugs it for yardage, and gets to the 45. It's almost a 5-yard gain. It looked like both Kaczynski and Donarski went to the right, and Perona turned. There was nobody there. Tom Valone on the tackle, and it's a gain of 5 yards for the Bruins. They pick up another 5. They've got a 1st down in midfield. It is 2nd down and 5 for St. Bede. The umpire on the play stands in the defensive backfield, covers the football until the center, Doug Hinkle, comes up there, and then he removes it. Here is an encroachment call coming up against Central Catholic. As the interior of the line, Tom Kraft moving in there, and also on the play is Mark McReynolds. They anticipate the snap count, jump off sides, a 5-yard penalty, and brings the ball up to midfield. Half-yard shy, however, of the 1st down. So St. Bede gets a big break here in the early part of the ball game, as it's now 2nd down and a foot. As the St. Bede Bruins move it here from left to right. It's 8:30 to go in the opening quarter. No score yet. Hinkle over the football. Perona under him. Perona gives it over to Donarski, finds a crease, twists his way, and then catapults into the line and gets almost 5 yards and a 1st down. They go up the left side behind Dwayne Hansen's blocking as he opens up the hole, pushing aside Tom Kraft. It's a 1st down for the St. Bede Bruins. They're 2nd of the ball game and the 2nd of this drive. Central Catholic with the football is throwing the interception, and the Bruins now have it, and they've got a sustained drive alive with the wind to their back. Once again, twins to the right side. Kai Kaczynski, a seldom used fullback, the up back, leading the blocking for Donarski, throws a block, but a driving tackle made after a short gain. The stop made by Jody Ayer. Nice shot by Ayer, who wears number 55.
Initial hit for the Saints by number 55.
So that'll bring up now the 2nd down and about 8. The ball in BCC territory. They're the near hash mark on the right side of the field. A good tackle by Ayer. He and Toma are the 2 linebackers. They show now an odd man front with McReynolds down over the nose of the center. Swinging in motion is Gallagher. Handoff again to Donarski. Got a little room, and he chops ahead as he barges over the left side. Takes it inside the 40 near the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 3 for the St. Bede Bruins. Tim Valone and Toma on the tackle for the Central Catholic Saints. Well, it's going to be more than 3. It's going to be closer to long 4. They spot the ball now at the 40-yard line of Central Catholic. 7:02 to go in the 1st quarter.
3rd down.
Mueller going wide to the left side. And it is Gallagher wide now to the right side. Perona, a straight drop. Sets up the throw. Throws, it's incomplete. Slippery football. Mueller had it all the way, and it slipped right through his hands and down his jersey as he looks across the way. And it says to Coach John Bellino, Coach, it was like a greased pig. It's a 4th down and a punting opportunity for St. Bede as their unit comes on. As Capodice will go back to receive this punt. And you can bet, unless it's right to him and there's no rush, he's not going to go near it because it's going to be wet when it comes down to it. They're using mainly now, I guess, a composition rubber football, but it still unlike the old leather, which really got slippery, is still very wet. The punt by Perona is downfield and will clear the end zone. Capodice doesn't go near the ball. It's a touchback and out to the 20 for the Saints with 6:42 to go in the first quarter. And in these conditions, it's probably going to be a low-scoring ball game. And really, Joel Gerda, it's a shame that these two teams can't play on a sparkling fall afternoon, the sun shining and no wind, because sometimes you get a situation like this, and it really does not define things how good these two ball clubs would be against one another.
Definitely, Lonnie. The rain is definitely going to be a factor. It's going to be a matter of who can make the break with the rain.
The sophomores had the dry situation. The rain has settled in. Here is the pitch back to Tony Penn, turns it upfield, and then is knocked down and slides out of bounds. Penn getting some yards as he turns it up the left side. In on the tackle for St. Bede is Eric Kragulski, the sophomore safety, wears number 21. The gain is 7 yards, and it's 2nd down and 3 for the Saints.
43, Tony Penn, the ball carrier, takes the ball for about 7 yards for the Saints. Bringing up 2nd down.
Up over the football now is Malinowski. Excuse me, it is not Malinowski snapping. It is Tim Arnold. No, it is Malinowski. Now he shifts over the football. Where's number 70? The onside guard is number 50. Here again is the pitch back to Penn. He tries the right side. Perona is out there. He drags him down close to 1st down yardage. There's a flag on the play, and it may be a procedure call forthcoming against Central Catholic. It is indeed a backfield in motion call, illegal procedure, as one of the backs turned up early.
Against the Saints call on
so it's an obvious take situation for St. Bede. They won't decline this penalty. It would be very, very close to a BCC first down. So Bloomington Central Catholic now huddling and retreating back downfield as the walk-off of 5 yards against the Saints will give them the football deeper in their own territory. That's another thing. You're not going to see many penalties, I'm sure, declined because of the field position advantage in this game that both sides would try to enjoy. You would have to anticipate perhaps a break going either way under these very soggy conditions to give the ball game to one side or the other. We've seen it so often. Somebody in the secondary slips and falls and they complete a pass or maybe a fumble or something like that. So now it is 2nd down and 7. Almost 8 for Bloomington Catholic. Zanoni shows the ball. Hands off to Penn, and he's knocked down in the backfield.
And out goes number 43.
The tackle is made for St. Bede by Kelly Neal. A sophomore is waiting for him, and he knocks him down for a loss.
By Kelly Neal.
Neal, a sophomore, and there's nobody more proud of him than his dad. I'm sure is sitting across the way. His dad's a big St. Bede fan already. Shows up at the freshman games and the JV games and everything. You're going to see him at just about every St. Bede function, including, of course, the hamburger and brat fries. He shows up for that, too, and enjoys his share. Big play for both sides now. If you're a St. Bede fan, the St. Bede defense called upon on 3rd down and almost 10. Capodice in motion to the left side. Zanoni pitches the ball back. Free football. Penn covers it. And a punting situation, and I believe there's a flag across the way as well.
Carrier number 43, Tony Penn.
The slippery football coming back from Zanoni to his tailback, Tony Penn. The call is against Central Catholic. This time St. Bede will probably decline it and take the 4th.
Tony flags are down on the flag once again.
Or against Central Catholic, rather.
So St. Bede to decline and force the punt. It is declined to bring up the 4th down. 4:46 to go in the first quarter. You're in tune with WLPO, LaSalle, Purdue, Oglesby, Spring Valley, 1220 on your dial. Back to receive the punt, Toby Galandri, a junior on the far side. And on the near side, a sophomore, Eric Kragulski. Capodice back to punt as he stands near the St. 5-yard line. The snap is there. St. Bede with a rush on him. He gets it away off the right side of his foot. Fair catch called for and made by Galandri at the 43-yard line of the Central Catholic Saints. So the Bruins take over in great field position. 4:20 to go in the opening quarter here at Bloomington this afternoon. I was feeling a little smug when I talked to our engineer, John Small, on the telephone before the game. He said, "What's it like down there?" I said, "It's cloudy, but we haven't had much rain." He said, "It's pouring up here." And I thought, well, that's too bad for you guys. And I thought maybe we'd avoid it here, but we have not. The young quarterback, Joe Perona, to pass, is being pressured, gets it away. I don't know how to Donarski, avoiding the sack of about 8 yards, and Donarski gets about 2 yards on the play, brought down by Jody Ayer, the senior linebacker. Started there last year. They lost some outstanding defensive players, did the Saints, from last year's 10-2 semifinal ball club. Tim Kraft, Bob Brady, who went on to Villanova, Tom Kinsella, Chip Sherman, Gary Jewett, all outstanding defensive players. They pride themselves on defense, but they've got some good ones back. It's 2nd down and 9. Kai Kaczynski with the ball and a gaping hole up the middle, but sealed in a hurry, and the knockdown made after a gain of about 6 yards. In on the stop is Toma. And also, it's hard to tell, a gang tackled him down there in the slop. But anyway,
stop for the Saints, number 26, Kurt Toma.
Toma was one of the people involved. That'll bring up now a 3rd down and 4 for St. Bede with 3:16 to go in the first quarter. The Bruins moving it here with a trailing win from left to right. Gallagher, Galandri out of the formation, both to the right side, the short side of the line of scrimmage. The handoff goes to Donarski, and he is tackled and right now by Mark Bratkowski, a two-way starter of this ball club who also started on defense a year ago. It is close to first down yardage, but he didn't make it. He's about a yard shy. Perona says we'd like to have a measurement. And so a timeout is taken, and they will measure as the sticks come across from the St. Bede side across the way.
That was a great second effort by Donarski that he was hit behind the line, but still pushed forward and came very close to picking up the first down.
Well, I don't want to give the Heisman Trophy to Joe Perona yet, but this guy, as a junior, has so much savvy in all sports. It is a first down.
First down for the Bruins.
It is a first down. I thought he was shy. Perona said we want the measurement. They get the first down. Did you see the way he handed the ball to Donarski on the last play? He covered the ball himself with both hands, stuck it in there with both hands, and made sure that Donarski had grasped the ball with his hands before he let go of it. Those are those little nuances that you wouldn't see in the box score. But you see them out here when you got the glasses on the quarterback, Joe Perona. Under his center, Doug Hinkle. Perona looks around. Perona gives it over to Kai Kaczynski, and he is stopped on a shoot-top tackle and a big tackle by Tom Kraft, who started last year. They have a number of people, Bratkowski, Ayer, Rapp, Valone, and Kraft, all of whom started last year on this defensive scheme for the Central Catholic Saints. 2nd down and 8. St. Bede likes to move the ball towards the grass area of the field. They work it on the near hash mark, not doing anything wide where they got to turn and try to cut it up in the muddy part of the field. 2 minutes even to go in the first quarter. No score yet. St. Bede with a mini drive alive as Perona sends Gallagher in motion to the left side. Perona fakes to Donarski, back to pass, loops it over to Donarski. He's wide open, he can't hang on to the ball. Donarski wide open at the 20-yard line, and the wet ball came in and off his fingertips, and a little bit of frustration shown by Donarski as he pats himself on the helmet as he comes back over to the huddle now. Into the lineup is Mueller. Clock stopped with 1:47 on the opening quarter. Relatively quickly played first quarter here.
1:47 left in the
Not a
first
lot of
quarter.
passing because of the weather condition. We didn't start the ball game until 2:15 here. Twin receivers to the left side. It is Gallagher, it is Galandri and Mueller. Running the eye set. Mueller in motion towards the right side. Quick drop by Perona. Is looking, has time, flushed out of the pocket, throws it downfield, intercepted. It is intercepted by number 26, Toma, the linebacker.
Intercepted for the Saints by number 26.
And he slips and goes down immediately right where he made the interception. So now both quarterbacks in this unseemly weather have thrown interceptions in the first quarter. The ball at the 21-yard line, 1st and 10 for
The interception for the Saints has the ball marked at the 20-yard line.
You talk about interceptions, though, I harken back to last night's ball game between IVCC and Thornton, where a local guy from Normal U-High intercepted 4 passes for Illinois Valley. Walter Fox from the home of the U-High Pioneers. Zanoni to test the air lane. Has a man wide open. It's caught by Lanier in open field at midfield to the 40. To the 30 and knocked down from behind at the 28-yard line. But there is a flag on the play in the Central Catholic backfield.
penalty flag on the play.
Corona caught up to him and made the tackle from behind.
Offside. What was it?
But it's a call against Central Catholic, and it negates a gigantic gain on the wet field.
Is that illegal
Signal Lanny showed illegal receiver downfield on the play.
Officials indicate illegal
Oh my, that
receiver
will
downfield
drive
against the
John
Saints.
McIntyre right up the wall. They had the play set up beautifully. Apparently Lanier told his coaches and his quarterback Zanoni that he has been alone over there. We did not notice him before. But Doug Lanier was 20 yards behind everybody else, and John Bellino obviously a little distraught about his defensive coverage on the split end senior Doug Lanier. Wears number 3. Great numbers on these guys. Capodice wears 9, Lanier 3, Krakowski 4, Nerick wears number 7. They've got a lot of single digits in their skilled people. So that'll bring up now 2nd down and about 15. Here's the handoff, and slithering ahead is Gratkowski as he cuts it back against the middle and knocked down by Jim Latin, the defensive end, number 76. He was finding the footing a bit treacherous as he took the handoff. Gratkowski had the big game against Lincoln, 63 yards and a touchdown. He had 120 and a touchdown against Drew High. We'll bring up now 3rd down and 13. The ball at the 18-yard line, and the Saints time running down in the first quarter with 40 seconds to play in it. No score. St. Bede with a big break on an ineligible downfield, which also was a loss of down on the play. So now on 3rd down, Zanoni looks again to the same man, and he throws in behind Doug Lanier, who was trying to run a square in. He came down, gave the juke to the outside, and then came back against the linebacker, John Patak, and Zanoni threw the ball behind him. I just wonder if, in fact, Lanier ran the wrong pattern. You would think that on a short square out like that, Zanoni would have been a little more accurate because he threw right to the sideline where Lanier would have made his cut.
For the Saints, number 9.
Nonetheless, it brings up a 4th down, and Capodice back to punt. St. Bede has enjoyed superior field position the entire ball game, but no score to show for it. The punt is downrange, and it is handled by Kragulski. Looks for a block, gets a block, clip on the play as flags go down, and Kragulski slips as he tries to cut back, and he goes down. So St. Bede will get the ball, but they also face a 15-yard penalty from near the 46-yard line of Central Catholic. There was no doubt about it. No doubt about the clip. So the 15-yard penalty will bring the ball back down into St. Bede territory, and the Bruins will have to work it from about their own 38 or so, depending on where they finally mark it down. 16 seconds to go in the first quarter. St. Bede with the football, but now in their own territory. They mark the ball at the 39-yard line, and St. Bede puts it in play, 1st and 10.
Marked at the 39-yard line for the Bruins. Well, they'll take over 1st
So
and 10.
now Joe Perrone, after being in the sideline conversation with John Bellino and his brain trust across the way, including Don Carlson and Bernie Moore, the freshman coaches over there, Ken Anderson, and Bassador, Coach Bassador is over there as we get him on the glasses all the way across the field. They're getting together, take a look at the latest advance by St. Bede. And now, the first quarter is history. From Bloomington Central Catholic football field, there is no score between St. Bede and Central Catholic, and we'll be back after this from Homestead Oil. I did the ID, just take one here.
Shutout going.
Boy, oh boy. You know, it's really frustrating though what's going to happen in this game. It's really not fair.
Stupid play that'll win it.
Somebody's going to drop a punt, or a pitch is going to go wild, or,
It's like a rain is stopped.
you know. Yeah, it's slowed down, hasn't it? Yeah, what do you got? All right, we'll give him. We'll take it back.
Start of the second quarter. The Bruins will start off 1st and 10.
We go to the second quarter. St. Bede now faces the wind. The rain has let up somewhat. The Bruins put it in play at their own 39-yard line with Gallagher in motion towards the left side from a long count. Perrone back to pass. Scans the defense and throws incomplete, and I think Jody Hare may have gotten his hand on the ball. The intended receiver, Toby Galandri, who ran a post pattern up across midfield. The ball looked like it was there on time, but I would guess the number 55 Air may have deflected it and thrown the path of the ball off just a little bit, because Galandri went into the air. He tried to cradle it, but the ball came in on his shoulder pad and it bounces away. Second down and 10 now for St. Bede.
Down and 10 coming up for the Bruins of St. Bede.
The Bruins working just inside their own 40-yard line. The ball equidistant between the hash marks. The pitch is back to Donarski, and they thread it out and knock it down. Excuse me, that is not Donarski in there. That is Eric Krogolski, number 21.
Correction, number 21, Eric Krogolski.
Donarski, the tailback, number 22, was out of the lineup for that play. He now comes in, and Eric Krogolski goes out after picking up a yard.
Gain of about 1 on the play.
So it is now third down and 9 for St. Bede. The rain letting up somewhat, but the field quickly becoming a quagmire after the heavy rain in the first quarter. Faking to the fullback, hitting it up the middle. Dave Smith with the ball. He's in the secondary at the 40, to the 35, to the 30, and collared from behind and knocked down on the play by Bob Bardwell, one of the corners. And it's a big gainer from Verona to Dave Smith. We've seen them do that before. Smith has caught
now number 35, Bob Bardwell,
and one for 29. So he has caught balls worth 44 yards already in the rain.
It's a big 29-yard gain right there on that pass play.
Dave Smith, the tight end, up the middle of the field. And St. Bede driving here. The ball just inside the 30-yard line of Central Catholic. The sideline to the left and open field to the right. St. Bede going right to left. Got to play 3 football. And Central Catholic with it. Krakowski was nailed. And the ball recovered on the play by number 60, Mark McReynolds, the 6'2", 175 senior. McReynolds takes the ball, and St. Bede, as we had anticipated, and not only for their side, but both sides, giving up the ball via the fumble. Not the final fumble of the game, I'm sure. So the scoring drive dies for St. Bede at the 33-yard line of Central Catholic. The handoff to Penn, and he is gang tackled. Penn got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all.
Tony Penn stacked up on the play.
Tony Penn brought down by a wave of white and green. Art Cornwait, number 75, in on the tackle. Also on the stop is John Patak, the primary tackler. It's a gain of a yard, and second down and 9.
Bringing up second down for the Saints.
The ball out at the 34-yard line of Central Catholic with 10:05 to go in the half. At halftime, we'll talk with John Snyder, athletic director here at Bloomington Central Catholic, and also Bernie Moore, the sophomore coach from St. Bede. Zanoni under his center, Jim Malinowski. Zanoni fakes a little draw, back to pass, flips it upfield, and it's incomplete over the head of the intended receiver, Mark Radkowski, and right on in to the Central Catholic bench. Well, Joel, we talked about it off the air a minute ago during that commercial break with some of the people here in the press box, that it's a shame this game will probably be decided on a break one way or another. And I think that in a key game in the Corn Belt Conference, you get these two together, both of whom feel they'll be in the conference hunt. You really wish they could play it in the dome somewhere.
It's going to be a team that can take advantage of that break that's going to win this ball game, and it's just a shame that they can't play it on better conditions.
But it's the same on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Capodice in motion to the left side. Zanoni feels some pressure, flushed out of the pocket. Eludes a rush, has some room to the 35, to the 40, and knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line, the near side by Kai Kaczynski. But it is a first down for the Saints. Everybody covered downfield, and St. Bede with a good coverage, forcing Zanoni to run, and that good coverage came back to haunt St. Bede because Zanoni had a lot of room on the near sideline. 9:42 on the half, and the clock stopped. No score between Central Catholic and St. Bede.
Quarterback number 17, Jim Zanoni.
I want to wish a happy belated birthday to Philip Slevin. Celebrated his 12th birthday in our house yesterday. The reason I thought about him is because his birthday dinner is going to be tonight. He requested lasagna. I hope they keep the clock moving here in the second half. Zanoni under center. The pitch is back to Penn. Penn gets a little block with his fullback, Radkowski, and fights his way for a couple of tough yards. Again, Art Cornwait on the tackle for St. Bede, and in the bottom of the pile is Mike Day, a junior tackle for the Bruins. Schmitz, Day, Cornwait, and Latin up front.
The initial stop on the play for the Bruins.
That'll bring up now second down and 7. Tony Penn did not play in the McNamara game. That's the only loss of the year for Central Catholic. He had an elbow injury. But he's back here now and has been the brunt of their offense so far. Carthage in motion. Zanoni to pass. Has got a man out there, and it is intercepted by Perona. Perona intercepts the ball. It's intended for Lanier, and Perona cut right in front of him as Lanier is knocked down by Hable, and Perona intercepts the ball. Second interception off Zanoni. Perona, the quarterback at St. Bede, has thrown one as well. So it has been a game of turnovers here in these weather conditions, not really fit for ducks. You look around, you don't see any, and that sounds like a Bart Crab line. I'm sorry about that. 8:57 for the first half here on WLPO.
First and 10 after the interception.
Wide to the left side is going to bring up second down and 14 as they spot the ball at the 29-yard line. And it is Patak, number 42, has checked in with a play from Coach John Bellino. Coach Bellino in his 6th year as head coach, taking over from the legendary John Gahn. With a man in motion, Perona again with a very long count, pitches to the weak side. Donarski gets away from one man as Kraft was on his back, but he doesn't get away from the second. He picks up a couple of yards on the far side, and then is escorted out of bounds near the St. Bede bench over there. So the footing, to say the least, like running on ball bearings. And now on a third down St. Bede call, it'll be third down and long. There is a flag, incidentally, on the play, and I'm not sure what this is all about. Looks like it's against St. Bede. Well, they mark it off against St. Bede. Now they come back the other way. The play, procedure against St. Bede declined. That's why there will not be a mark off. It is declined, and a wise declension, I believe, because of the fact that the ball carrier lost another yard on the play. Anyway, it's now third down and 15.
Bruins on the play.
Boy, it's just tough skating out there. 7:58 to play in the half. Perona shows the ball and gives it over to Kragolski. Slips the tackle, fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by the Saints. The sophomore Kragolski having a rough time as he has lost 2 fumbles out here. Krakowski gets the recovery. I think he had the earlier one. No, he didn't either. It was one of the linemen. Nonetheless, Krakowski up with this one. And it is a first down in a game of field position. The ball on the 31-yard line of St. Bede. And the defensive unit of the Saints fists in the air off the field, exhorting the offense. The rain harder. Zanoni under center. The rain coming down very hard now. Penn with the ball. Penn cuts it back. St. Bede slipping off the tackle, and Penn gets close to 11 yards. I think he's going to have a first down as he moves the ball near the 20-yard line, and it is a first down for the Saints. A lot of time in the half. 7:28 till intermission. John Bellino gives a quick glance at the clock now and then surveys his defense. St. Bede wearing once white uniforms, now clad in brown and green. Wide to the left side, Lanier. Slotted right. To the left side now goes Carthage. He moves over to the left. Bratkowski, the up back, as they show an eye set with Penn off the tail. The hand, they fake the handoff. Zanoni rolls with the ball, keeps it himself, breaks it at the 10, goes to the 5, and touchdown, Saints.
Touchdown, Central Catholic!
A beautiful piece of open field running as he just watches Bruin slide out of his way. And Jim Zanoni takes it on in for the score. What was that, about 11-yard run or so, or was it longer than 20-yard run? A 20-yard run. Boy, he broke it in a hurry. I thought it was shorter than that. He brings it in back. They still leave the sticks back here, so it is a 20-yard run for Zanoni. And out of the hold of Zanoni, the PAT try by John Kilgore, the soccer-style kicker, hits it with the right foot. He gets into the ball, and as usual with Kilgore, it is very, very good. So with 7:02 to go in the first half, it is Central Catholic with 7 and St. Bede nothing. We'll be back after this from Spring Valley City Bank.
Catholic 7, St. Bede 0.
Oh, is that, yeah, how many they have out there?
I don't know. I think they got more than 200.
Oh, that's time.
We got to start in 2 days.
Doing the backstroke out there, trying to get your tape. What a bummer was after running.
Yard penalty, although there was no gain, just to put St. Bede back deeper in its own territory and hope for a turnover. We'll see. No, now Coach McIntyre says no. Go ahead and take the down. There was no gain. I'd be tempted. Oh, it's a holding call, too, and that would have been a half the distance
Holding
on
charge
the major.
assessed against the Bruins.
Of course, half the
declined by
distance from the
Saints.
9, only be down just inside the
take it down.
5.
Bring it up,
I'd be
second
very
down.
tempted, however, to take that penalty, even though it is a first down, just in case you want to hope for that turnover near the goal line. But St. Bede now, not with much extra running room, out at the 9. He may have lost a half yard on the play. So at second down, we'll call it still 10.
Second down and 11 coming up for the Bruins.
Joe Perona wipes his hands off, the towel worn by Hansen. Fakes a handoff, he wants to throw it, everybody's covered, slips one tackle, slips another, and finally Valone and Kraft knock him out of bounds on the far sideline. He didn't get very much out of it though, because he had gone into the pocket and then unable to get too much traction, and he gets about a yard, maybe 2.
Gain of about 1 on the play.
It'll bring up third down and a long 8 for St. Bede.
Bringing up 3rd and 8 for the Bruins.
John Bellino very glad that he did not force that ball into traffic, however. With everybody covered downfield, you throw a wet football down there. St. Bede digging a dry football out of the bag across the way, and they throw it into the officials. That's why the delay. Don't forget, we have Russ Park coming up after the sign-off here from Central Catholic and his Reminisce with Russ program. We'll do a quick recap on the ball game and then on to that program. It is third down. St. Bede calling for the drive ball, anticipating perhaps a pass from Perona, but it would be, I'm sure, a safe pass. Sky a little bit lighter over towards the west. With our luck, it'll be sunny on our way home back to the Illinois Valley. Draw play. They give it over to Donarski. Sprints out across the 5, out across the 10, and then is riddled by a couple of people. Kurt Thoma, the originator of the tackle for the Central Catholic Saints. The ball out to the 13-yard line, but it'll bring up 4th down and 6 for St. Bede. They'll have to give it back with 5.5 to go in the half.
Bring up 4th and 6 for the Bruins.
The punter will stay in the lineup. That is Perona.
Number 9, Nick Capodice.
Capodice standing deepest in the triangle of players back near the St. Bede 45-yard line. Perona hoping for a dry ball as it comes back to him, at least something that he can handle.
Bruins, number 12, Joe
Standing
Perona.
at the goal line, takes the ball and kicks it low and end over end. It is grabbed by Gratkowski, gets a block, slips, gets into the middle, slips a tackle, and then goes down at the 35-yard line. On the stop is Dwayne Hansen for St. Bede. And he brought that ball right into the muddiest part of the football field. And the officials now do something that I feel is very nice. They bring the ball out of the mud and spot it on the near side just to get it so the center does not have to snap a muddy football as they bring it over about 3 yards just to line it So at least they'll be able to come to the line of
Saints set up
scrimmage
first and 10.
with a ball in a little bit of grass area. So the Central Catholic Saints already leading 7-0, and time to score another one with the ball in great field position. Jim Zanoni under his center, Jim Malinowski. Zanoni with a pitch back to Penn. Penn doesn't get a block and is ridden back, and a hard tackle by Perona with the assist from Kai Kaczynski.
Number 43, Tony Penn.
Kai Kaczynski, if you can see his face, it looks like something on a wanted poster down in Juarez. I mean, he has got one of those surly faces on the football field, is rougher than a stucco bathtub. He comes after you on every play. He's a 2-year starter at middle linebacker for St. Bede, and also as the starting fullback, but is used mainly for blocking. 2nd down and 8, the ball at the St. Bede 32-yard line. Flipping the towel up on the back of his center is quarterback Jim Zanoni. Zanoni fakes to Penn. Zanoni to pass. The ball slips out of his hand. Free football in the Saints backfield. And did St. Bede get it? No, apparently not. St. Bede says we have it. Zanoni is still down on the field. And Zanoni not injured. I thought for a moment he was. He says that the ball just slipped out of my hands, Coach, and I need a dry towel. They didn't call that a pass, did they? I don't think they did.
The ball is recovered by number 17 for the Saints.
Apparently Zanoni got his own fumble back. They would have called it a pass had his arm started forward, but as he tried to throw the ball, it just slipped out of his hand, and he didn't even make any movement forward. Timeout for the moment. They get a towel out there for the quarterback. The rain continues to fall here, and is being...
Timeout on the play, waiting for a dry ball.
It is being angled towards the St. Bede goal line because of the wind coming out of the south.
The last serve.
Well, now they're going to bring a dry ball out. They don't even trust that one. They call for a dry ball to get it. 3:11 to go in the half.
Manny, it's really starting to come down here now, and it's maybe the last bit we're going to get because the skies aren't clearing to the west of us here.
This may be the last shot of rain, at least we would certainly hope so. Although the damage has been under the field, at least with the dry football, we may see the team be able to throw it a little bit. Here is a halfback option pass. Gradkowski looks downfield, throws, and it is trapped by Mark Nerick, and a flag on the play.
Gradkowski on the halfback pass.
It may be a hold on Nick Capodice of the Saints.
For number 7, Mark Nerick. Incomplete.
If in fact it is,
on the play.
It'll presumably be declined by St. Bede and bring up 4th down. St. Bede given the option right now by the official. John Bellino looks across, is not indicated yet. Now he's going to take the yardage. And again, as we had said before, in a game of field positions, when you get a 10-yard penalty out near midfield, I guess you might as well take it. So here is the walk-off. And it brings the ball outside the St. Bede 45, a 10-yard penalty. That'll bring up 3rd down and major now. 3rd down and about 22 or 3.
3rd and long coming up for Central
It's a long one for the Saints to make up. 12:20 on your dial, WLPO. Lanny Slevin along with Joel Gernovich with you this afternoon from a soggy facility at Central Catholic High School, but it's been a spirited and hard-hitting ball game. 7-0, Central Catholic leading St. Bede. Zanoni to pass, loses the ball, scramble, and Central Catholic has it.
Fumble on the play, recovered by the Saints.
He was hit and hard by Cornwaite, and Kelly Neal separated the ball, and again it just squirted out of his hand.
Recovery
like trying to pick up a watermelon seed off a vinyl kitchen floor. The ball squirting out of his hand and a forward and recovered by the Saints interior lineman. It'll be 4th down and very long now. 4th down and about
4th and long coming up for the
30.
Saints.
The line to gain is way down inside the St. Bede 25 near the 23-yard line.
Nick Capodice.
Eric Krogulski and Joe Perona, a couple of underclassmen, receive the punt
deep for the Bruins
for St. Bede. Capodice to punt will swing into the ball near the 40-yard line. High snap, but no rush. Gets it away, and he sidewinds it downfield. Fair catch called for and made by Perona on the near side. St. Bede will take over near their own 20-yard line. Time a factor now in the half with 2:01 to play in it. St. Bede trails here 7-0. Corn Belt opener. You can bet that Clinton is going to be in the chase this year, and Olympia in the title chase this year. They both registered impressive wins on Friday night. And of course, you can never discount the Normal U-High Pioneers in the Corn Belt Conference as well, although they lost a non-conference game and big to the Central Catholic team to open the season. On the option, Perona is wrestled down. Getting through there to do the damage is Mark McReynolds, along with number 74, Tom Kraft, for Central Catholic.
74, Tom
So
Kraft.
it's a short gain of 3, close to 4 yards.
Game of about 4 on the play.
Problem with St. Bede right now is the clock is running along. We're down to 1:33 for the half. Perona wants timeout here, maybe an official timeout. He's got an equipment problem. He was separated from his helmet, popping a chin strap, and they take timeout to get that situation remedied. Sea of umbrellas right over to our right now as people huddle up on the hillside over here. Be making their way to the concession area for a nice warm sandwich and a cup of coffee maybe at halftime. Perona wants to pass. Flushed out of the pocket by Kraft. Finds a man open, but he slips and goes down. Coming back to the ball, Jim Gallagher, trying to cut back to the ball. On a normal day, he may have been able to catch it. But this time, as he makes his cut towards the St. Bede bench, he slips and goes down. Third down and long 6 for St. Bede. Clock stopped with 1:13 to go in the first half. The sky is lightening and the rain subsiding somewhat. But as far as the field condition goes, unless they bring in the helicopters from Normal to try to dry it out, which they, of course, will not do. I remember doing a baseball game one day, and they did that down at Springfield. Helicopter hovering about 10 feet over the field. It dried it out pretty well after rain like this. Counter play, handoff to Kaczynski. He explodes up the middle. It's a big man. It hangs out across the 30 and up to the 32-yard line. A first down for St. Bede. Timeout taken now while the chains are brought up, and I think St. Bede may have requested a timeout as well. St. Bede takes timeout here. That is their first timeout. They have 2 remaining, but only 1:07 to go in the half. So with a break in the action, the Saints of Central Catholic 7 and St. Bede nothing. Will return after this from First National Bank of Oglesby.
Central Catholic 7, St. Bede nothing.
Are you taping this? John, are you taping it? Yeah, a guy asked for the tape of it. No, just put it on my desk and I'll do it tomorrow. Just Joel Gerda. There's no other radio station here. There is, but they're not doing the game. Dick Lutke's here, but he just called in report. St. Bede with a timeout here. They have 2 remaining. The thing about Joe Perona and his passing is, and I'm sure we will see this, if in fact he throws the completion, chances are, although dangerous, he'll try to go to the sidelines and try to stop the clock either on an overthrow or, if in fact they complete it, his man can get out of bounds. 1:07 is enough time to move the ball downfield. But if you complete it up the middle, then you got to burn a timeout right away. The ball just outside the 30-yard line of the Bruins. Here is the handoff. Kind of surprised they go to the fullback, and nothing going for Kai Kaczynski, brought down after a gain of a yard. Well, John Bellino getting very conservative in his old age. St. Bede going without a huddle, however, so they did call a couple of plays in the last time out. This will probably be the pass. Oh, my. As I started to say, this will probably be the pass. Nick Kelly runs downfield like a sprinter coming out of the blocks. And a 5-yard walk-off and a costly one against St. Bede. Kelly, a veteran who started a tackle a year ago, should know better, but he didn't hear the snap.
Offside started against the Bruins.
5-yard penalty brings the ball back to the 26-yard line of St. Bede.
Bring the ball back to about the 26-yard line for the Bruins.
In on the play for St. Bede now is Patak, and he comes in and takes time out with only 36 seconds to go. So not a good sequence at all for the St. Bede Bruins. They had the plays set up, 2 to be exact, a handoff to Kaczynski to get the Central Catholic Saints thinking run, and then obviously a passing play by Perona. But on the obvious passing play, Nick Kelly went offside, and a 5-yard penalty against St. Bede brings up second down now at 15. The rain letting up a little bit. The sky is a little bit lighter, but nobody's going to be sunbathing here at halftime. We'll be talking with John Snyder, athletic director at Central Catholic, about some of the ongoing programs here. And we'll also, of course, talk with Bernie Moore, the St. Bede sophomore coach. Our first chance to check in with him during this football season. And Dick Ludke said he'd be by to say hello to all his fans down at Beck's in Peru, if in fact he's able to break away. Remember the night Ludke went to Beck's? Hasn't been the same since. In fact, they've just replenished the cabinet. Okay, let's go. That's not true at all. That's not true, because Dick Ludke is one of the clean living sportscasters. In fact, I asked him, I said, what are you doing in this business? Okay, Perona ready to set his ball club down, and he does. The Bruins, though, with a long way to go on this wet field. Perona to pass, rolls, throws, got a man wide open, it's off the hands of Gallagher again. Gallagher could not hold on to the slippery football.
For Gallagher on the play.
He caught a 60-yard touchdown pass against St. Edward. The pass very much like that, and he legged it on in. But today, the weather, the factor. Just not to be. 31 seconds to go in the half.
On the play. We'll lead the Bruins to the 3rd and 15.
3rd and 15 for St. Bede. You know, if they come up to 4th and 15, or even 4th and 10, or 4th and 9, it'll be interesting to see if they go for it. Because they may just want to punt the ball away and not want to risk anything else happening to them in their own territory here. Perona fumbles the center snap and is knocked down by Tom Kraft.
Bobbled snap on the play.
And St. Bede uses its final timeout. No, now Central Catholic with a timeout. Central Catholic with a timeout, making sure that St. Bede has to punt if they don't go for it. So with 26 seconds to go in the half.
26 seconds left to go in the half.
St. Bede
against the Saints.
now will have to run a 4th down play, and it's 4th down and 17. On the timeout, the head coach is coming out for both sides. John Bellino into the St. Bede huddle, and John McIntyre into the defensive huddle of his Central Catholic Saints. Joel?
I would almost think St. Bede would have to punt this ball away. You don't want to give Central Catholic that ball down inside the 30-yard line with 20-some seconds to go. That's definitely enough time to put the ball in. I would think they would try to maybe punt the ball away and hopefully just hold Bloomington on one play or two.
And also hope that their punt coverage team can keep their feet and not slip and slide, because the only score of the game has been really, in this situation, a brilliant if St. Bede punts. Now they shift out of the running situation. Perona under center. Now he shifts back into punt formation. Perona calls everybody in tight. He had 2 ends out wide. He now calls them in. The snap is a good one, and the punt is a good one by Perona. With backspin on it, it's grabbed by Cabotage at the 45. Great coverage by St. Bede. He goes down at the 42, and a flag on the play as well. It's not a late hit. Cabotage slowed down by St. Bede, making the initial contact is Dave Smith, the tight end. So we'll see what the flag is about. With 16 seconds to go, it's clipping against Central Catholic. So that helps St. Bede.
Clipping against Central Catholic.
Although with this much time remaining, it would be one of those long pass situations anyway if they wanted to try to score here. Not wanting to risk the interception now, they may just run out the clock. The Saints may just fall on the ball, not wanting to risk a turnover. They may not even run a play. The clock starts now with 12 seconds to go, and they will not run a play. They're going to let the clock run out. So at halftime, Central Catholic leading St. Bede 7-0. We'll be back with some statistics at halftime and a couple of guests after this from Homestead Oil.
At the half, Central Catholic 7, St. Bede nothing.
Have you seen John Snyder?
Just when I came in, we'll be down on the hill, you know?
Yeah, he said he'd come up, but he might have forgotten.
Well, that would have been a little
Yeah. Well, I got two guys to talk to.
No, I didn't keep that. So barely getting written down.
When he scored? Yeah, is that what it was?
I think it was about 7:05 to go. I know after the kickoff I looked. 7:01.
Snyder's nice way.
We'll be talking with a couple of halftime guests. The only score in the first half, a keeper by the quarterback Zanoni, 20 yards at 7:01 for the half, and 7-0 the score. And as promised, we'll be talking with Mr. Snyder and also Bernie Moore. And we'll have Joel Gerdovich look at some numbers for us as well. The fans trying to dry out a little bit now as the rain has subsided somewhat. Bernie Moore is with us, and we'll be talking with both Bernie and John Snyder here at halftime. Bernie, I know that one of the things we wanted to ask you about, not as a parent but as a fan, what's the status on that running back Slevin?
Well, honey, I think it's a sprained ankle. It's not very much swollen, so I think we just got to turn under and he'll be okay with a little bit of ice treatment. His dad probably got to take him to the hospital and get back here and check him.
Well, let Mom do that. I'm not real good with hospital. Let's talk about your sophomore ball club a little bit, and obviously one that you are very proud of. They had a brilliant freshman year with only one loss, and now off to a great start in '85, a sophomore.
You're right. That's the word I feel about these kids. Tremendous effort, plus a very coachable bunch of boys, and it's just been an extreme pleasure. It's nice to win ball games, that's true, but I just have a lot of fun coaching these kids.
I know that you lost a couple of guys that have been brought up to the varsity. The most notable, of course, Eric Rogalski, who was just a great all-around player on their team last year and is not playing for you, and yet I know that you understand the situation better than I at St. Bede. If John Bellino calls, then you've got to answer and send him off.
How true, how true. That's even what makes it more pleasurable for me, because we've been trying to get it across to each of our groups of kids. So this is not a one-man game or a two-man game. And what I'm very, very happy about is the fact that even though we lost 2 or 3 or 4 players to the varsity, that we're still able to play and be successful. And the nice part about that, of course, is that you get a few more kids and get some regular playing time, and it can't be anything but helpful in the years to come.
How about Judge Perona's family now? Do they design quarterbacks when they bring those kids up? 'Cause
I think I've been told that that's a genetic development from the Perona clan. Jimmy, I can't say enough about Jimmy Perona this year. We changed him. As you know, of course, your son was a quarterback last year. We moved him to running back, and Jimmy came in, never having done the job. He was back up last year for a while, but he came on and accepted the responsibility. He's doing a tremendous job.
how about some of those other kids? Now we have so many names, and we don't want to exclude anybody, and there's always that built-in danger when you start naming names that Grandma's going to be listening back at home saying, well, Coach didn't mention my son's name, so he must not like him, and we don't want to do that. But you've had some standout performances by a number of kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before a couple of the kids went up to the varsity, I was alternating 5 backs, and our stats show there's not 10 yards difference in total gains by all 5 kids. So they're all running hard. That's Mike Ebner, Kelly Neal, Mike Hollery, your son Lanny, just running extremely hard. Todd Grace, the other boy I can depend on. All 5 of those kids at any time to give me the ball and get me a couple of yards. Our offensive line is giving me a tremendous effort. They're a little sluggish today. I told them in the locker room, a little disappointed, but you know, on a rain-soaked field, it gets a little slippery down there. But those kids, they work hard. They're in the trenches all the time, and I'm just proud of them all.
Did you think that Brian Ketter could run as fast as he did on that interception return?
I told Brian I've got his number now. Now in practice, I know how fast he can run. That was a tremendous effort. At first, I didn't even think he was going to run it out of the end zone. And then he came out and off he took. He saw some daylight ahead of him, and I'm very glad that he did.
You know how most people would overestimate their abilities. I asked him on the sidelines how far that run back was. He said, I think it was 99. It was actually closer to 102.
Yes, I think I know he was in the end zone. How deep, I really don't know. And a starter stepped, and away we went. Got lucky, and you know, everyone saw it. He took it all the way.
That was the winning touchdown, in essence, in the ball game. As it was a real dogfight, as it usually is, between Central Catholic and St. Bede. You know, yesterday at your place, the Saints won the freshman meeting between these two, 8-0. And that's about where we are here today in the varsity game. How about the field conditions? You just walked across the field. What's it like out there?
Well, of course, it's a lot slipperier now than when we played because, of course, we've got the rain. It was damp, but not bad playing conditions during our game at all. The Central Catholic kids, I think.
Well, yeah.
Let's talk about some of the other programs. Obviously, with Coach McIntyre's excellent football program speaks for itself with the state championship a couple of years ago and the brilliant record the last 3 years of 33-5 coming into this season. But you've got some other sports that are going on down here too, don't you?
Well, for a school our size, I'm real proud of our athletic program. We have 21 different teams and 13 interscholastic sports for boys and girls, and and some of them do very well, and some not so well, mainly because of numbers. We got 253 kids. We don't have too many for some of the sports, but I think we do an excellent job for the total program.
I know that it's a little early to start talking about basketball, and
I
yet
don't want to talk about it.
no, I don't. With the Corn Belt set up in a home-and-home situation, I know you'll be seeing St. Bede and the other schools twice in there. And I did want to ask you about the Christmas tournament, because we had heard that the Illinois State Classic this year is not going to be played as such, but you do have an inter-city tournament planned.
Oh yeah, we simply moved we changed the name too, by the way. We moved it to Normal Community High School. They have a beautiful gym that seats about 3,300, and the cost at ISU is just too much. We lost $5,600 last year on a tournament, even though we got great teams. Some of those teams like East St. Louis and Chicago, we had a state champion in our tournament last year, Mount Carmel, but they don't bring anybody, and we still got the Bills, and we got a very first-class operation in that tournament. So we just had to move it.
I was going to say, we've been there a couple of times with the LaSalle Peru High School that was in the tournament for
I'll invite you down.
3 or 4 years. Well, I was ready to come. You got to talk to Brett Brown and Chip Giovanni up there about that one. I'm not sure.
Chip, we wouldn't probably never invite Chip back. Chip,
wait a minute,
I know.
I don't want to start any kind of controversy here on the air. We're just here to enjoy the football game Sunday afternoon. We figured as long as the Bears weren't playing today, we'd come down and take a look at this one. So anyway, that's going to be, what kind of tournament format are you going to have on it, John?
The same. We have 16 teams and some of the top teams in the state in it. And we would like to see 3 or 4 more teams of Central Catholic type, St. Bede type, to kind of knock down the competition a little bit for everybody, and maybe teams within 60 miles, to get the gate receipts up. So, but it's still a first-class operation.
What do you do at Thanksgiving time? Because the Thanksgiving tournaments have really been a bugaboo the last few years as well.
Well, that's a great one for us. The 4 inner-city high schools open up at Horton Fieldhouse every year, and it's a money winner for the 4 schools. We play at ISU, and we make good money off of it. And the doubleheader, the football doubleheader, we operate very well in the community. The 4 high schools really do.
Well, listen, we're going to let you go, but maybe you could stop in the Saints locker room and ask Coach McIntyre to give these poor visitors a break in the second half. They're trying hard out there, but they've just been kind of out-muscled, and I guess the breaks have gone more the Saints' way.
No, the break did, and what we'll do, we'll offer you some hospitality, some brats afterwards, okay?
Well, stick around for the brats.
Okay.
Thanks for coming by. There's John Snyder, athletic director here at the home of the Central Catholic Saints, and we're going to bring in Joel Gurdovich to take a look at some first half numbers for us, Joel, if you will, and I know that it's not been an easy game to keep statistics for. First of all, with the number of turnovers, and every time you look up, somebody else has got the ball, and every other time the ball is bouncing crazily around in the mud out here. But one of those games that, as we said before, it's the same conditions on both sides of the line of scrimmage. We're certainly not making any kind of alibi for the St. Bede Bruins, and they're not out of it. They trail only 7-0.
Well, there hasn't been much rushing or passing yardage to speak of in the ball game. Bloomington Central right now has got 51 total offensive yards, all of it rushing. Tony is 0 for 5 passing, and Witkowski is 0 for 1 on that halfback option. Rushing, they've got Tony Penn with 7 rushes for 21 yards, Mark Witkowski 2 rushes for 5 yards, and Jim Zatoni 3 rushes for 25 yards, 20 of those coming on that touchdown run. For St. Bede, they've got a total of 89 yards, 44 by the rush and 44 by the pass. The 44 by the pass with 3 of 8 for Corona. Those going to Dave Smith and 29 on the one play, and 1 to Mickey Denarcy.
There are a small number of Central Catholic Saints football jackets, the heavy ones with the plow liners on sale.
Krasinski 4 times
the tables
for 17
behind
yards.
the press box.
Joe Perona 4 times for 9 yards, and Eric Nagolski once for 1 yard. On the ball game, we've got Bloomington Central has fumbled the ball twice and recovered their own, and St. Bede has fumbled twice and lost both of those. The only two passes, like I said, completed by Zatoni have both been to Joe Perona, as he's come up with 2 interceptions for St. Bede, and Kurt Thomas come up with 1 for Central Catholic. So far, both teams have punted 3 times. Penalty yardage, St. Bede's been penalized twice for 20 yards, and we've got Central Catholic penalized 5 times for a total of 40 yards.
I know that we did not keep this, nor do we ever in a high school or junior college football broadcast, and yet it'd be interesting to note what would be the deepest penetration by both sides in the ball game, because this game virtually has been played between the 25 to 30 yard lines near the center of the field. Obviously, the only penetration was for the scores, and only took it in from 20. And even when they had the ball at the 20-yard line, I had the feeling that maybe they would not score because of the treacherous condition and the heavy rain we had during the first half, which has let up a little bit. But again, the damage has been done to the field, and there's no way that the footing will be much better in the second half.
Well, as Coach Snyder said, it was Tony moving to the outside that gave him a little bit better footing, and even then, it was amazing that he kept his balance. There were a couple times on a couple of cuts that he almost went down. I believe the closest St. Peter's come has been on that 29-yard pass play when they moved down with inside the 30 and then fumbled it away on the very first play after that.
That's about it. St. Bede really has not been close to scoring in the ball game, and they would be looking for perhaps a turnover or maybe a defensive back to slip and go down on an aerial by Perona to get them right back into the ball game. You'd hate to come all this way and watch the game in this condition and go home with a 7-0 final score, although right now I'm sure Central Catholic would be just as glad as they make their presence felt immediately in the Corn Belt Conference season. But it's just one of those things.
Well, I definitely think we're going to see a little bit more scoring, Lanny. It's definitely stopped raining. It's brightened up, and I think we may see the passing, holding on the ball may be a little bit easier. The footing may be a little slippery yet, but we've had a couple of passes that have been right there and just slipped right through the hands.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because both these quarterbacks are excellent passers, Zanoni and Perona. And for the most part, the ball has been near the intended receiver. And if in fact not on the receiver's numbers, but a lot of them have just slipped away as the ball travels through the wet conditions here. Dick Lutke is here. I don't know if we can get him in here now. Dick waits until the waning moment so he doesn't have to charge us a talent fee, I'm sure. You've been up there on the roof, and your jacket is a little bit wet. What happened?
Nice and dry in here. I figured the rain was coming in here, too. How do you rate it?
I'm just glad that Kimball left, or JBC would have the booth and we'd be upstairs. You know how that goes. But anyway, it's been one of those games, Dick, and I imagine you would feel the same way we do inside the box down here, that a sluggish performance has been exacted by the weather and the dictation of the weather, and it's really a shame, because these are two teams that on a normal dry day would be zinging at one another. We'd probably have a 21-20 halftime score out here.
You've got the good hard hitting that you always have when the Bruins and Saints get together, but yeah, they just aren't able to play as they're capable of playing, and it's a defensive mistake, which is responsible for the touchdown more than anything, and I think that's what the Bruins have to hope for in the second half. The Saints will make a similar mistake.
Exactly, and yet the rain has stopped for the moment, and the sky somewhat lighter, and the weather has been the predominant factor in this contest. But as you mentioned, the hitting in the pits has been ferocious. The footing has not been good. And as a result, we've had almost a standoff in a 7-0 game. I just hope that they don't get close enough to let Kilgard go to work, because he might be the difference in the game.
Well, the conditions aren't real good for that either, but yeah, he has a great leg. He's kicked some long field goals already this year, and if it comes down to that, he could win it for him.
By the way, how are the Cardinals doing?
They are down now, 5-3 in the, I believe it's the top of the 7th inning at Busch Stadium.
How about the Mets? You don't have an update on this?
They were losing 5-1 the last I heard, and about the 6th, I think, at Shea Stadium against the Pirates.
Well, and maybe the Redbirds will turn it around and protect things in that East. It's a wild dogfight, isn't it?
Well, it sure is, and I like the Cardinals' chances. 2 games up here with 2 weeks to go. I think they're in pretty good shape.
You going to be able to get us some passes to the World Series?
I'll get you right behind home plate, Lane.
Good, I'll carry your Marty for you. Thanks for coming by. That's a good friend, the sports director at WJBC here in Bloomington, Normal, Dick Lutke, who does an outstanding job with ISU sports and covering Illinois Wesleyan and the various high schools down here, 4 major high schools. I think Lutke might be the busiest guy in the world during the school season. He is either on the road with ISU or Wesleyan or with one of these high schools, but he does a great job, and we're glad to call him a friend, and we always enjoy getting together with him. By the way, Dick, your seat is waiting for you at Beck's in Peru if you want to come up there sometime and enjoy a nice meal. Okay, let's get back down to business now, where it is business for St. Bede. You know, we have a good time up here renewing old acquaintances and chatting with old friends. We make the trip to the Twin Cities, and yet across the way, John Bellino, I'm sure, is not joking around. He is quite stern with his ball club, and he wants to get them together and play a hard-hitting and productive and hopefully scoring second half. You're listening to WLPO. LaSalle, Peru, Oglesby, Spring Valley, 1220 on your dial. And we're ready to go now in the third quarter in a 7-0 lead for Central Catholic. They huddle down below now around their head coach, John McIntyre, who's off with his windbreaker. He's out there now with just his blue sweater. John Bellino wearing his green St. Bede rain gear across the way, however. The St. Bede Bruins defending the goal to our left. They'll have the win here in the third quarter. And deploying to our right, the Central Catholic Saints with a one-touchdown lead. St. Bede will be getting the football here as we start the third quarter. These two teams have played such close ball games. A one-pointer last year, and what was it the year before? 3 points, I believe, or 4. Both games at St. Bede on St. Bede homecoming. Speaking of which, we will be at St. Bede for their homecoming game on Saturday.
For the Bruins, number 42.
October the 4th, they take on Stanford Olympia. The Spartans in town to do battle with St. Bede. St. Bede will be back in action at Pontiac this coming Friday night, and then with about a 9 or 10 day layoff, well, I guess an 8 day layoff. They're playing the homecoming game this year on a Saturday, so they will be playing on Saturday the 4th at home with a home date against Clinton, and then at Normal and at Mendota to wrap up the season. Central Catholic will be back in action at Olympia this coming Friday night. Kilgard has the ball teed up and ready to kick off for St. Bede. He kicks it high in the air and very short. The ball is grabbed by Hable at the 30 to the 35. He bounces out to the 40-yard line.
Kick taken by number 32, Hable.
Return tackle made for the Saints by Tom Kraft. First and 10, St. Bede. Good field position
The Bruins will take over
for the St. Bede Bruins. Well, let's see what they can do now with the rain having stopped. Joe?
Well, just make a correction, and I don't like to step all over, but I know St. Bede will be playing the homecoming game on the 12th against Clinton, and not on the 4th against Olympia. They play Olympia on the 4th, and the 12th we play Clinton.
I'm glad you said so. Hand off in a big hole for Lenarski, out across midfield to the 49, and a first down for St. Bede. Thank you, Joe.
First
And I'll
down
tell you what
pickup
I
for
was
St. Bede
confused
on the
about
play.
that is I wrote down on my schedule broadcast against Olympia, and I should have noticed the starting time is 8 o'clock. They play on the 12th against Clinton, and that is the game that will be broadcast for homecoming. Thank you for the correction. That game on the 12th against Clinton with a 2 o'clock kickoff, and the St. Bede freshman playing the preliminary game. Janarski again with the ball, and he doesn't get much. They slam it into the turf. In on the stop for Central Catholic is Mark McReynolds, a 6'2 senior. No gain on the play. Defensively, McReynolds, along with Kraft, Valone, Hess, and Rapp up front, with Air and Toma, the linebackers. Bardwell, Lanier, Gratkowski, and Capodice in the secondary for the Saints. It's second down and 10 for St. Bede. The nose of the ball just in Saint territory at the 49-yard line. Movement of the line and jumping offside is the guy who made the prior tackle, McReynolds. So on the encroachment penalty, a 5-yard walk-off against Central Catholic will bring up second down and 5. So that helps
Offsides
St.
indicated
Bede.
against the Saints, who back them up 5 yards.
Second down and 5, and the ball just inside the 45-yard line of the Saints now. Starts to sprinkle a little bit again.
Inside the 45-yard line.
St. Bede offensively with Hinkle at center, Schmitz and Hansen the guards, Ernan, Putsch, and Kelly the tackles, Galandri and Smith the end. And a great tackle in the backfield by Kraft, and lunging back to the line of scrimmage is Mickey Donarski. Donarski was hit as Kraft cut him about knee-high, and Donarski loses about a half yard. And a dry football called for now by the official. It'll bring up third down and a long 5, the line to gain the 40-yard line of the Saints. Over the football is Doug Hinkle for St. Bede. The Bruins looking to score here. They trail 7-0. Still waiting for the dry ball. Defensively, they show usually a 5-man front with McReynolds over the nose of the center, but will shift into a 4-man rush. It looks like that's what they're going to use right now.
third down coming up for St. Bede Academy.
4 down linemen. They'll try to pinch in with Kraft on one side and McReynolds on the other. Corona sets his ball club down. Corona back to pass. Corona looks and throws. He's got his man tight end Dave Smith for a first down and then some. And he advances the ball inside the 30
Smith, 84.
to the 29-yard line. Bardwell made the stop for Central Catholic and a big first down for St. Bede. That is the pass that worked twice for good yardage in the first half, and they hook up here. Don't forget, reminisce with Russ coming up after our sign-off here. Going wide out to the left side of the line is Toby Galandry, and Gallagher slots inside of him. Tight end side, the power side to the right, but they go to the weak side left, and Arski loses the ball. And the Central Catholic Saints have it.
Bubble ball on the play.
Central Catholic up with a football.
Recovery goes to Central Catholic.
The rain starting again. The fumble has been recovered by number 54, Steve Rapp, the defensive end on the right side.
By 54, Steve Rapp.
First and 10, Central Catholic, 9:31 to go in the third quarter, and things not looking up for the Bruins. Maybe they'll give it back.
Central Catholic will take over first and 10.
So Central Catholic on offense for the first time here in the second half. Offensively, Malinowski is at center. Wallenberg, Arnold, Nelson, and Kraft up front. Lanier and Myrick are the ends. Capodice, the wingback. Gradkowski, Penn, and Zanoni in the backfield. Zanoni, the quarterback. Zanoni under center with Capodice in motion right to left. Leads the block for Penn. He's tackled by Kai Kaczynski, but he slips through a little crack and gets 3 yards. That'll bring up second down and 7.
Picks up about 3. Second and 7 coming up for the Saints.
You're working right now in that muddy part of the field. The ball inside the 35 at the 34-yard line of Central Catholic.
Ball resting on the 34-yard
I
line.
mentioned this, you heard John Snyder talk about the brat fry coming up after the game. It was very nice that the Central Catholic parents put an invitation in the mail to the newspaper and to us up there. They invite all the St. Bede fans to enjoy the brat fry right after the game. Umbrellas not provided. Handoff again to Penn. Penn lunges for yardage. That is wrestled out
once again
by
goes
Brian
number 43,
Schmidt.
Tony Penn, the ball carrier.
Penn keeping his feet under him, and he stood up by Schmitz and Art Cornwait for St. Bede. Short gain on the play.
St. Bede defenders on
Bring
the
up
play.
third down and 6. He got about a yard. Dry football filtered into the game. Central Catholic right now, they can hang on to the football with a 1-touchdown lead in these conditions. Looking very big, although we have a lot of time remaining. 8:15 to play in the third quarter. Wide by himself is Doug Lanier, who caught a big ball earlier, but it was called back because of offensive holding. Zanoni to throw. Rolling left. Throws it coming out of the backfield, Gradkowski, and it slips through his hand, goes incomplete. On defense for St. Bede in the lineup is Gary Mueller, one of the linebackers. Had him on one-on-one coverage. A very catchable ball, but the wet ball slipped right through. And that'll bring up fourth down in a punting situation on fourth down and about 6.
4th and 6 coming
Jody
up for
Ayer
the Saints.
checks into the lineup for Penn. He'll be doing some blocking in there for the punter, Nick Capodice. For St.
Taking away
Bede,
for Central Catholic, number 9, Nick
dropping
Capodice.
back is Eric Kragulski on the near side. And across the way for the Bruins is Toby Galandry.
Back deep for the Bruins, 21, Eric Krogolski.
St. Bede shows rush as they scrape the backers up into the line. They've got the rush on, the ball gets away. Capodice picks it up. Capodice throws the ball. It'll be intentional grounding. It's a free football down there. The Bruins go after it. And what's going to happen here is this. As Capodice tried to get the ball away, there was nobody there. He was flattened. St. Bede not only get the ball, but a half the distance penalty. And the Bruins are going to get it in great field position on a key turnover against Central Catholic.
Well, that's another one of those breaks, and now St. Pete could take advantage of it. We're going to be tied up here, have a 1-point ball game very shortly. The last pass play that St. Pete had on their last drive, we're going to give the completion to Galandry on that one. He came from the wide side across the field.
Well, that was not the tight end.
No, that was Galandry on the wide side.
So it was the same pattern that Smith had run earlier, but it was Galandry. And again, we apologize because oft times the numbers, especially of the skill players, have been obscured by the muddy conditions. St. Bede colors of Kelly green and white have given way to a muddy brown and a Kelly Green.
Officials indicate intentional grounding against the Saints.
Intentional grounding and the loss of down, of course. The half the distance penalty takes the ball to the 5-yard line, where it's first down for St. Bede. First down and goal from the Central Catholic 5. Perona keeps the ball himself, and he is very close, but not in.
Number 12, quarterback Joe Perona.
Perona keeping the ball. He is tackled by Jody Ayer and Jim Malinowski for the Saints. The ball very close. He is about a yard and a half away from the potential tying score here. Trailing 7-0 the Bruins with 7:28 and the clock running in the third quarter. St. Bede with the wind to their back in the third quarter. The rain continuing to fall. The Bruins attack the goal at the north end of the field, or the goal to our right. Perona runs his team from power I set, strong to the right side. Kai Kaczynski is in for the touchdown. The fullback Kaczynski takes it in for the score, and the St. Bede deficit is only 1. Now it'll be interesting to see if, in fact, they have Perona go for the 1, or if they try for the go-ahead score. And now, knowing John Bellino, I have a feeling they may just go for the 2 here. He may want to gamble a little bit, but I am guessing. They do bring the ball to the center of the field. The officials mark the ball 3 yards away on the hash mark in the center of the field, and St. Bede going for 2. The Bruins break their huddle.
St. Bede going for 2 on the play.
St. Bede running for power I. Perona sets him down. Perona fakes to Kaczynski. He rolls. He is in trouble. He is looking for a receiver. He throws to Smith, but it's incomplete off Dave Smith's hand.
Perona's pass intended
I'll
for
throw it in a little
Dave
bit high.
Smith.
Doug Lanier on the coverage against Smith. And the ball a little bit high to Dave Smith. So St. Bede gambles, and in this situation
pass coverage
loses.
provided by number 4, Gratkowski, and number 9, Capodice for the Saints.
And so the Bruins to kick off trailing 7-6 with 7:12 to go in the third quarter. This game being brought to us today by Spring Valley City Bank, Homestead Oil, and First National Bank at Oglesby. We appreciate the St. Bede boosters, including those 3 sponsors. The kickoff man is John Patek.
After today's ball game, the Bratwurst Prize.
Going back to receive on the far side, Gratkowski. In the middle is Capodice. And on the near side is Tony Penn for Central Catholic. Central Catholic beat St. Bede by 1 at St. Bede last year. And as we mentioned earlier, don't forget that homecoming date with Clinton is on the 12th of October, and we'll broadcast the game right here on WLPL. 145 airtime. Good kick by Patak, drives Capodice back near the 5. Brings it out across the 10, gets a block, sprints out across the 15, out across the 20, keeps it open field at the 40, out across midfield, and knocked down at the 48-yard line of St. Bede. And a flag on the play.
Capodice on the long carry, brings it out to the 38.
Capodice all the way out to the 48-yard line of St. Bede, but I think the flag is against the Central Catholic Saints.
The only flags on the play. Capodice brings the ball out to the 48-yard line for the Saints.
We may have some unsportsmanlike conduct coming out of this.
John Bellino across the way adjusts his green and white baseball hat and looks rather nervously out at the field, although St. Bede right now, the team given the option by the official. There are 2 flags, one at the 43-yard line of the Saints, and one near the 43 or 44-yard line of St. Bede. Personal foul called against Central Catholic.
Personal foul against the Saints.
Personal foul against St. Bede.
Personal foul against
offsetting penalties. So the ball goes to the 48-yard line or the 49-yard line of St. Bede in good position for Central Catholic. They lead by 1, 7:02 for the third.
Well, we're going to leave the ball right there at the 48 because we have 2 dead ball penalties.
Central Catholic will take over 1st and 10 on the 48-yard line.
Exactly. The ball not in the possession of anybody until it is marked ready for play at the line of scrimmage. Even though Central Catholic did have it, a brilliant run back by Capodice. Zanoni keeps the ball on the option. St. Bede turns it in and Mueller makes a tackle. A big hit in the open field by Gary Mueller as he knocks down Zanoni after a gain of a yard to the 48. That'll bring up 2nd down and 9 for Central Catholic on the near hash mark. They move it here from right to left. The St. Bede student body on their feet across the way. Cheering away.
Zanoni picks up about a yard on the play for the Saints. 2nd and 9 coming up for Central.
I want to mention something kind of interesting about St. Bede and one of their other sports. in golf, one of their outstanding golfers, John Gravetti, broke his shoulder playing touch football. He had a broken collarbone or dislocated arm, and his brother Taz Gravetti grabbed John's bag, and he has replaced him in the golf lineup for St. Bede. Kind of a brother helping brother act. Zanoni knocked down, may have lost a yard. Zanoni out there in the middle of the field where the footing is treacherous, turned in by Art Cornthwaite, and knocked down.
For St. Bede.
The loss of almost 2 yards where they say his knee went down. I'll tell you what he did. He did one of those Walter Payton things where he tries to put the ball forward as he went down, and the official said, no, it's where your knee went initially, back near the midfield stripe. So it's 3rd down and 11.
3rd and 11.
For the Central Catholic Saints. Jim Zanoni under his center, Jim Melanowski. Wide receivers to both sides. Rolling is Zanoni. Throws it deep. After the ball is Mark Nierick, but he can't catch up to it. And St. Bede with good coverage down there.
Number 7, Mark Nierick, incomplete.
He got a pretty good distance on that wet football.
4th and 11 for the Saints.
Down near the 22 to 23 yard line of St. Bede. That'll bring up 4th down and 11. St. Bede anticipating a punt as Nierick comes to the near sideline. He dove through the air at the ball, but even if he had caught it, I think he would have landed out of bounds. Bloomington Central Catholic looking for a player now. They only have 10 on the field. Now Tony Penn checks in to block for the punter, Capodice. So that long run back by Capodice,
number 9, Nick Capodice,
is negated by the St. Bede defense. Galandri on the far side and Kragulski on the near. The ball bounces to Galandri and he loses it, and I think Central Catholic may have it.
Oh, come on, Saints got it.
I think Central Catholic has it. We're going to wait for him to umpire. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Who got in there? I'll tell you, it looked like one of the blockers back there, number 20, Jim Gallagher, ended up with the ball.
I think they did rule it that way, Lanny, because they are giving the ball to St. Bede at the 24-yard line.
St. Bede's ball.
Oh, St. Bede with...
The Bruins will take over 1st and 10.
A big break here. Apparently, the official right there on the play and a nice quick whistle, because obviously the ball ended up in control of Central Catholic, but it was blown dead with St. Bede getting. The ball slipped away from the St. Bede player that recovered. With the football and absorbing a hit off the tail, I believe, is Donarski. We'll wait for him to unpile, and it may be Eric Kragulski, number 21. No, it is Donarski, number 22. He gets a yard off the left side.
Mickey Donarski for the Bruins.
I have to excuse as we pause from time to time just trying to pick up the numbers of St. Bede. Central Catholic's much easier to read. They have the dark jersey and the gold numerals on them, and even though with the mud, not nearly as difficult to read as the St. Bede numbers are. St. Bede was 2nd down, working deep in their own territory near the 24-yard line. And Perona misses the handoff and is chopped.
Handoff on the play.
Kaczynski was already by him.
Keeps the ball.
Big tackle made in the middle of the line. Mark McReynolds, among others. 3 or 4 of the
initial
Saints in there.
Number 60, Mark McReynolds for the Saints.
That now brings up 3rd down and 8 for St. Bede. The ball at the 25-yard line of the Bruins with 3:48 to go in the 3rd quarter. Equidistant between the hash marks. St. Bede bringing it up here from left to right, going wide to the left side is Galandri, and slotted left is Gallagher. Strong side now to Smith, the tight end side to the right. Running the option to the right side. Here's the pitch back to Donarski. Flag goes down. And I think we're going to have a crackback call against Dylan Smith with a penalty against St. Bede, which will probably be declined.
Penalty flag on the play.
Donarski is not going to call it a hold against Smith. So let's see if they take the penalty. It would be a 10-yard penalty and still 3rd down. But on 4th down, St. Bede would have to punt. The action brought it out to the 27-yard line. So they decline the penalty, going to bring up 4th down.
Bringing up 4th down for the Bruins.
4th down and 5 for St. Bede. They do send their punting unit out.
4th and about 5 coming out for St. Bede.
Although I believe, Joe, I can't recall if it was against LP or not, but St. Bede does have a fake punt play in this situation where they give the ball to Kragulski, number 21, who's in there to block. I don't know if they try it here. I would doubt it.
I recommend it trying at this deep.
Perona
Perona to boot the ball. Oh, he sends it downfield. And a very good punt to capitalize at the 30. 35, gets to near sideline at the 40. 45, and then knocked out of bounds, and there's another flag on the play. As Capodice is really drilled out of bounds by both Perona and also Mike Rossblock. There's a flag on the play, dropped at the 42-yard line of Central Catholic, flipping the call against the Saints.
Officials indicate flipping against Central Catholic.
Coaching staff down below talking it over with the official. I think their discussion centers around the fact that they had thought that maybe Capodice was the beneficiary of a late hit. The problem with that is it's so muddy down there by the bench. If St. Bede had anybody coming in there, they were going to slide into him anyway. He ended up over here in the bleachers. 2:54 to go, third quarter.
Back to Saints.
The penalty brings Central Catholic back into their own territory 15 yards deeper as they mark it at the 27-yard line. The Saints put it in play there, 1st and 10.
The ball is marked at the 27-yard line for the Saints. First down.
Sideline to the left now, and open field to the right. And going to the open side of the field is Doug Lanier, the elusive little pass catcher. Capodice in motion to the left side. The rain is just about stopped now. Hand off to Tony Penn. He gets a hold up the middle, weaves his way through the secondary, and has the first down all the way out to the 39-yard line. On the tackle for St. Bede is the middle linebacker, Kai Kaczynski, along with Eric Krogulski, but a big first down for Central Catholic.
First down gain for Central Catholic by
I like the running of this Tony Penn. Of course, he's not a surprise. He was all-conference first team last year as a junior. He started every game at tailback for the team that finished 10-2 here at Central Catholic. So he is a bona fide all-state candidate certainly this year. Still a couple of sprinkles coming down here at Bloomington this afternoon. Hope you're enjoying things. It's a 7-6 ball game. Central Catholic with the lead. Zanoni goes up the middle, runs hard, still running, and brings it out to the 45. A pickup of almost 7 yards.
Jim Zanoni
with a quarterback keeper just following his center, Jim Malinowski, who at 6'2", 210 can clear a path, and he did there. St. Bede recovering. It's now 2nd down and 3 for the Central Catholic Saints. The ball at the 45-yard line. What did I say about the rain stopping, Joe? Never fails. 50-50 chance of rain in our area. I imagine it's about the same. Of course, that was last night. They probably upgraded that schedule to a 95% chance today. It's been raining off and on here all day. Pitch again, back to Penn. Breaks a tackle and nearly breaks another one. Lunges and he may have the first down.
Tony Penn.
The tandem of Perona and Krogulski, the two safeties for St. Bede, made the tackle. St. Bede with an injured player. One of the linemen, no, that is not a lineman, that is Kelly Neal, one of the linebackers, who has been shaken up. And he is replaced immediately in the lineup by number 51, Ernie Steins. So Neal has been shaken up. It looks like it is his left
injured Bruin leg. Play, number 43, Kelly Neal.
Oh, you know what, Joel, I was just thinking about this. He had a knee problem last year, you remember? And I don't know if it was his left knee or not. But right now, out there, John Bellino is looking at his left knee. And we certainly don't want to be the bearer of bad news. Oh, okay, now they're trying to help him. Yeah. Thought they're going to help him up, and if it was a serious problem, they wouldn't let him put any weight on it. Now they bring a couple of people out to help him.
Immediately following the game.
It is the left knee, but the good news is I don't think it's a serious knee. He may have just turned that same knee, had trouble with it. It's not a serious knee problem, and I can say that emphatically, just in case he's got relatives listening back at home. He is putting weight on it. In fact, now is walking on it. So it is not a serious knee problem. I'll tell you who is as much concerned as John Bellino, and that's the basketball coaching staff. He's a good basketball prospect, and you don't want to lose a player in any sport, but he's an excellent basketball player too. 1st and 10, Central Catholic. The ball near their own 49-yard line. Little quick hitter to Gratkowski, who has been quiet here in the second half. And he gets
number 4, Mark
not much. They may give him a half yard on it. Kai Kaczynski on the stop, along with Art Cornwaite for the St. Bede Bruins. Time running out in the 3rd. We're down to a minute and 8 to play in it. It has been that kind of game here in the rain. A 7-6 stalemate, but Bloomington Central Catholic with the 7 and the St. Bede Bruins the 6. Good hard-hitting game. Malinowski sprints up over the ball as they send Doug Lanier wide now to the right side. Zanoni turns, pitches the ball back to Penn. Penn breaks a tackle. Penn gets across midfield and finally knocked out of bounds at the 45, near the 44-yard line of St. Bede. Knocked out of bounds by a clean jersey in there. Number 44, a sophomore, Mike Ebner, knocked him out of bounds. He stands out, doesn't he? I thought they brought Steins in to replace Kelly Neal, but apparently he went back out, and they bring in the sophomore Ebner. Rain falling harder now.
Well, it's real easy to tell, Lanny, who's the new ball player in the game right now.
Ebner trying to get his jersey dirty, and he did a good job in the last play.
Take us right on with them.
Plane going overhead from the Bloomington Normal Twin Cities Airport. Pitch back to Penn. Penn looks for help. Mueller's got him, and then a wave of white and green knock him down. There's also a flag on the play. Dropped back in the middle of the original line of scrimmage. Penn loses a couple of yards. It'll bring up 4th down.
Bring up 4th down for Central Catholic.
Or it could be 3rd if, in fact, St. Bede takes the penalty. And Central Catholic walking back, and they're responding to like it could be a major, either 10 for holding or 15 for something worse. And they're going to take the penalty here, I would guess. Again, not to belabor the weather situation, but in a game like this with the field the way it is, field position is of the essence, and that's what John Bellino is thinking now as they mark a major against the Central Catholic Saints. Flipping call. 15 yards, it brings the ball all the way back to the 39-yard line of the Central Catholic Saints. That'll bring up 3rd down and almost 20 now for Central Catholic, and this will probably be the final play of the 3rd quarter.
Coming up for the Saints.
The line to gain for the 1st down is the 41-yard line of St. Bede. Central Catholic with it at their own 39. Zanoni's gone the distance at quarterback. Tight inside to the left. Straight, quick drop. Flips it out of the backfield to Penn. Has the ball, gets a block. It's an open field in midfield to the 45 to the 40. 35 to the 30. Down to the 25-yard line and knocked down by Calhoun. No flag. A beautifully conceived play by Bloomington Central Catholic.
25-yard gain for Central Catholic provided by 33, Tony Penn.
Tony Penn up the near sidelines in front of a frantic Central Catholic bench, and a big gainer, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter.